Hey guys, today we have Nishant Sharma and he is having total 3.5 year of experience in Java, Spring Boot and microservices domain. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Nishant, how are you?
Fine, fine, fine. I'm good.
Okay, shall we start?
Sure.
Okay, so can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Sure. So myself, Nishant Sharma, I
Mm,
graduated in 2021 with a computer science degree, and I have total
mm,
3.5 years of work in backend Java. My
mm,
tech stack includes Spring Boot, distributed systems, all the
mm,
tools like Redis, Kafka, Elasticsearch, and I work with
mm,
both SQL and NoSQL databases. And
mm,
my roles and responsibilities mainly would include, feature building, bug fixes, PR reviews,
mm,
the
mm,
overall agile workflow that we follow in an
mm.
organization, which consists of daily meetings and sprint planning as well. And
Okay.
recently, I did a project for an American SaaS-based company called Teradata. They have a
Mm,
system called Study Abroad, which they sell to the
mm.
universities all over.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay,
a couple of
okay.
services for them. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your approach in resolving bugs?
So, okay, depends. Usually, it starts with what API is getting called,
Mm-hmm.
and if it is very complex, then you would usually go with a debugger in your code,
Mm-hmm.
check out like which line
Okay,
is
okay.
the error
Are you
coming.
checking logs as well?
Yeah, logs. Yeah, also
Through
logs.
which tool?
Docker, you can check logs on Docker as well, and
Okay,
CloudWatch AWS services have CloudWatch.
okay. Any visualization tool?
No, no, I have not used, but I think DevOps guys do have their. I think Grafana is one tool.
Grafana. Okay, okay. So have you used Janrix in your project?
Can you come back? Sorry.
Have you used Janrix in your project? Janrix.
Generic.
Yeah, yeah.
I have not used, but I know about generics. Yeah.
Okay.
So essentially, the idea is to pass whatever type you want with the question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, and also like it prevents class cast exception, right? By
You can extend,
enforcing.
basically you can use and extend keywords that's so that when you're using only this subclass can only
Mm-hmm.
use that generic. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Okay, so also tell me what's the difference between interface and abstract class prior to Java 8 as well as after Java 8.
So abstract classes, we can have a concrete method as well in an abstract class.
Mm-hmm.
But interface,
Mm-hmm.
like everything is by public,
Mm-hmm.
private, and static by default. And also like Java 8, they introduce private and default methods in interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
And
Previously it was these were not there.
yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
think it
Do
is.
you know about locking in Java locking?
Yeah, locking, yeah.
Yeah,
So
please.
see, the idea is that in a multi-threaded environment, when there are multiple threads making changes to a single
Mm-hmm.
mutable state, a shared
Okay,
mutable state, then it will
okay.
cause data inconsistency, is also known as the race condition.
Uh-huh.
Let's say if threads A reads some value and
Mm-hmm.
threads B is reading a different value, it's called a dirty read.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
the idea is that we have that only one thread has to access the critical section, and
Mm-hmm.
only after the it will get the lock first, and only after the completion of the method, then only or the synchronization block, then only
Okay, okay.
the block.
Okay. And what is a double check the lock?
So it's kind of an optimization or a kind of a safety check basically.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say essentially we use it to, let's say I've seen in like a singleton class where
Mm-hmm.
it's double checking to
Mm-hmm.
essentially check one more time if the instance is null or not. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially just sometimes it can happen that the new instance was created even though we had one. So it's better to always go for double checking even when your thread wake up.
Okay. 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 So tell me how is array list different from linked list in terms of performance?
In terms of performance, see,
Mm-hmm.
array list will give you randomized access in O of one.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get an element get by
Okay. Okay.
index, right? But in linked list, you have to use an iterator and that go back to that particular, that position.
Mm-hmm.
So in case of insertion, usually linked list, usually array list is are not good.
Mm-hmm.
You would need, let's say, you would need to shift elements one position,
Mm-hmm.
right or left, where you are inserting that element. But in case of
Okay.
linked list, we only play with pointers and addresses, so it's much more efficient. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Guys, I want to share something important with you. Actually, Nishant prepared from our interview preparation kit and cracked multiple interviews. We have also referred him to the multiple companies. So let me tell you, the interview preparation kit has four main parts. The first is complete interview preparation material. It is a step-by-step material made by me, expert and MNC's interviewers. 99% of the questions asked in the interviews are covered in it. Second is two real enterprise client projects that contains code and video recorded sessions are also there in this part, and you can add these in your resume. Third is lifetime chat support. Here, you can ask your doubts anytime. Fourth is referral support. Here, we help you get referred on top MNCs. So basically, the material is organized as per your experience level and covers Java, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data JPA, microservices, Kafka, Maven, Git coding questions, Stream API coding questions, and many more. You can buy just the complete interview preparation material or the full kit with project supports and referrals. I have added the link in the description below. So now moving to our interview. And guys, before moving to our interview, I would like to know the feedback of our interview preparation kit. So Nishant, can you please share your true feedback?
Yeah, I think it did help me. The I mean, this course is very structured and it
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of time. Essentially, if you
Okay.
try by yourself, it can get a little messy. If you have
Mm-hmm.
a structured way of preparing, then it's much better. So yeah, I'll recommend it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. So moving to our interview. So Nishant, can you tell me how does Java handle method overloading and overriding during runtime?
Okay, see, these are basically polymorphism method.
Mm-hmm.
Overloading essentially means you are calling the same method with different parameters.
Mm-hmm.
Like covariants are allowed, I think, in method overloading, but
Mm-hmm.
the parameters has to be different. I would say method name, and overriding is runtime polymorphism.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, you are it's also called as dynamic method dispatch. Which
Mm-hmm.
essentially, at runtime, your runtime you're deciding what method to call, which class
Mm-hmm.
which method to call.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Okay.
say you overridden method in your class, and
Mm-hmm.
it depends on also on the variable type, what kind of reference you have. Like parent,
Mm-hmm.
you would only have
Okay.
access to all the methods in the parent class only, but
Mm-hmm.
the implementation will be decided by at the runtime using the
Mm-hmm.
reference of the object.
Okay. 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 So can you describe a situation where using thread local can
Hmm.
introduce memory leaks?
Thread local can introduce memory leak. I think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
so see, garbage collector, we do have garbage collector in Java. So if you're doing everything, uh, like if you're following proper standards, then there
Mm-hmm.
will not be memory leaks. But the main idea behind thread local is memory optimization only.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I don't know
Okay.
about this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No worries. So basically, in thread pools, if thread local is not removed, it
Mhm.
stays in the memory, leading to leaks, especially in long-lived threads.
Okay, okay, and this is a strong reference, so GC will
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So can a static block throw a checked exception?
No, static cannot throw
No.
execution.
Why?
Because the property of static belongs to a class.
Hmm.
So essentially, if you do not have, it's a property of a class, not an object.
Hmm. Okay. 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 So tell me, why is it a bad idea to override equals method without overriding hash code in a class used in a hash map or hash set?
See, the hash-based collection, they will not,
Hmm.
they will essentially, they will give you unexpected and unpredictable behavior if you uh,
Hmm.
override both. So the main idea of the best standard is to always override hash code and equals. So
Okay.
in hash-based collection, a hash code will generally give you the
Hmm.
where your data is going to. But let's say if you override your hash code and it returns
Hmm.
a constant value, then your collections will become very weak. I mean, it will become essentially a big off n in case of a hash.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Sorry. So can you tell me how does the Java memory model affect visibility and atomicity guarantees in multi-threaded environments?
So no, I know about volatile keyword. So a volatile
Mm-hmm.
keyword usually will force Java to directly write in the main memory so that
Mm-hmm.
threads can read directly from the main memory
Mm-hmm.
without any case
Mm-hmm.
inconsistency. So the idea is that the values are cached. So we do not want
Mm-hmm.
the values the thread local the value of
Mm-hmm.
the value of the variable that the thread has cached, but we want that directly from the main memory.
Okay. Okay, okay.
So
So
atomic integer is one, I think one thread safe class you were, I think atomic integer you also asked about. So
yeah,
atomic
yeah,
integer is a,
atomicity.
it's a thread safe class.
Hmm. So have you used atomic integer or
Yes, I've used in a multi-threaded environment. Yes, when we use Spring MVC, of course, it's a
okay.
thread per request model. Then I think, yeah, I've used atomic integer.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Okay, so tell me how is Spring Boot different from Spring Framework while developing any project from the scratch?
Sure. See, the idea is to avoid lot of configuration and lot of boilerplate.
Mm-hmm.
In Spring, we had a lot of XML-based configuration. Now,
Mm-hmm.
did the framework Spring Boot, we generally had at the rate Spring Boot application on top of our main class. Now, this
Mm-hmm.
annotation is actually a combination of three annotation:
Mm-hmm.
configuration, auto configuration, and
Mm-hmm.
component scan. So, component scan is for base scanning your class path. It's scanning your
Mm-hmm.
packages and base packages for all
Mm-hmm.
classes annotated with component or service repository to
Mm-hmm.
IOC context or inversion of, I mean, basically a Spring application context. And and the configuration is basically you where you essentially can treat it as a class of as a bean definition, a class which consists of a bean definition. Let's say you want a bean where you want a more fine grain control over that, so you can control, you can essentially play with filters so that every time you request that bean from Spring context in case of let's say autobad or anytime injection, you have that
Mm-hmm.
with your auto with your manual configuration.
Okay.
And one is very auto configuration, which is the main important part, which it
Mm-hmm.
scan your class path for all the dependencies, and it
Mm-hmm.
uses annotation like a condition on being present or condition on
Mm-hmm.
some, like you only have to execute this part of code if you find this being present in the class path. So this is a kind of way where
Okay, okay.
so it basically takes opinionated way using some sensible defaults.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's called as
Okay,
opinionated framework. Yeah.
okay. Okay, so what are the embedded servers available?
Tomcat we have in Spring Boot by default. Yeah.
Okay, by default. And other than Tomcat?
Uh, I don't know other than Tomcat. I think
Okay.
we can change it by removing the POM file and by
Yes,
removing
yes, yes, yes. We have
but
Jetty server as well.
I have not.
So yeah, we have to first exclude Tomcat, then include Jetty.
Oh, okay, Jetty.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there any use case where Jetty would be more favorable
No, no.
than Tomcat?
No,
No.
it's yeah, it's just a personal choice.
Oh, okay, okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay. So can you tell me the use case of auto configuration in Spring Boot?
Use case of auto configuration is
Mm-hmm.
suppose let's say you have a bean called Kafka present in your class path. So
Mm-hmm.
using when auto configuration essentially will scan your class paths, look for
Mm-hmm.
the beans present in the class path or the class files, and based on the condition it will execute or make some kind of new beans for you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how auto configuration works.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
these sensible defaults, these are stored somewhere in our, I think
Mm.
there's one static file.inf, I think, where they're
So
stored.
do you know about class path? Like where beans are registered?
Uh, yeah, I think it's a directory only where you
Mm.
store all the dependencies and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's say a scheduled task in your application runs twice instead of once.
Okay.
So tell me all possible misconfigurations that maybe happen.
So your goal is to execute one task twice.
No, no, no.
Okay.
There is a scheduled task in our application,
On job.
okay, that runs once in
Once
a
every
day.
day, let's say.
Once in a day. Let's
Okay.
assume once in a day.
Okay.
But it runs twice instead of once.
Okay. So if we are using a cron job, maybe there could be some misconfiguration in the cron expression itself, or
Hmm.
there could be a mismatch of timing as well. Like you are
Okay.
using PC or you are sitting in India, there
Hmm.
could be time mismatch as well.
Or maybe multiple enable scheduling annotations.
Okay, yeah, that might be, yeah, that might
Yeah,
be.
that might be.
Mhm.
Or deployed multiple instances
Um,
without locking.
See, distributed. If we use multiple instances, then we need to use some kind of a manual, a distributed log kind of a system.
Hmm.
Like I think Redison is one library or uh,
Hmm.
algorithm.
Yeah,
Redison.
yeah. Okay. So how does Spring Boot manage thread pools in async methods?
So a Spring Boot
Sorry.
Async I have not used, but the so in like executor service, like in Java executor service, we have different kind of thread pool for different use cases. A fixed
Mm-hmm.
number of thread pool, a cache where you have a lot of IO calls,
Mm-hmm.
in threads getting blocked for some
Mm-hmm.
HTTP or DB call.
Mm-hmm.
or I think we do want to have schedule as well, where you can
Okay, okay.
schedule your task. So on the
Mm-hmm.
Java side of things, I know how like using
Mm-hmm.
executor service, but the Spring Async, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So let me tell you, Spring uses simple async task executor
Okay.
by default to
Mm-hmm.
manage thread pools and
So
async
like
methods.
it uses thread from the common fork join tool
No,
or
no.
the executor service.
Executes as a task executor.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is something manual by Spring Boot. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
tell me what's the purpose of configuration properties annotation and how it is different from value annotation?
configuration properties essentially, let's say you have application.properties file and you have declared some
Mm-hmm.
static values over there. So what you
Mm-hmm.
can do is using some kind of a prefix, you can directly read your values directly from over there.
Mm-hmm.
Configuration properties, I think there's annotation as configuration properties, and prefix you can give some prefix over there, and it will read all your whatever you have data source or whatever you have. Value will
Mm-hmm.
directly give you whatever it is stored over there.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
That's,
okay.
that's that's all I know. I think that's all I've used.
Yeah,
Value
yeah, yeah.
and
So configuration properties binds whole property group into a single purge.
everything. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
and that
Value
is for
annotation is
single
used for single property injection.
property. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So can a singleton scope bean safely inject a request scoped bean?
Can a singleton bean inject?
Scoped bean safely inject a request scoped bean.
Uh, what do you can you elaborate? What do you mean by this?
Okay, so do you know about the scope of beans?
Yeah. So by default, like every bean that we have in a Spring context has a singleton. Only a single instance is created. So
Mm-hmm.
every time when we request a bean from a application
Mm-hmm.
context,
So what are other beans? I
so
mean scope beans.
we do have a request scope, let's say HTTP request. So every time a new HTTP request comes, we want a new bean,
Mm-hmm.
a new address, a new bean to be created. I think this is about the HTTP session request as well. And
Okay.
we have a prototype as well. So prototype will give you every time you request, it will give you a new bean every time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So there is a term object factory. Do you know?
No, no.
No, no. So we actually in this here we use object factory or provider to fetch request scope beans lazily at
Okay.
runtime.
Okay.
Okay. So do you know about method level security?
Method level security. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I've used enable method level security. This is the annotations that we use in Spring Security on the, but it is a class level annotation, enable method security.
Okay. So how it is different from the security that we implement at the API level, like creating tokens and all?
I think we have to, for everything to work, we need to enable this. Like we enable caching.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if we enable caching, or let's say enable transaction,
Mm-hmm.
or let's say enable. I think we this act as a maybe a feature toggle, which tells Spring Boot, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
some kind of a that we
Okay.
going to
Okay.
use.
Okay,
I think.
so you are getting a circular dependency exception when using constructor injection, right? So how would you
Okay.
resolve it?
See the idea. See circular dependency, what does it mean? A depends on B and B depends on A. So the idea is
Mm-hmm.
you do not have a reference of A yet. Let's say you have a class B and you are
Mm-hmm.
injecting A. So what you can do is you can inject it lazily using a notation called lazy. Inside your
Mm-hmm.
constructor injection only, you can put lazy annotation, and whenever the reference will be available, then only it will be injected. So that's why you can get away with circular dependency essentially at compile time or
Mm-hmm.
reference.
Or also we could introduce an interface. We could use lazy annotation
Mhm.
or refactor logic into a third bean.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's also customizable.
Okay. So what causes a no such bean definition exception even though your bean is present in the code base?
Even the bean is present in the code base and you're
Hmm.
getting a no bean. Okay, so one thing I have noticed is that the components can it might not be working correctly. So
Correct.
yeah, so it might happen that all the beans that you have annotated, all the
Mm-hmm.
beans are
Being
not
not scanned due to the package mismatch, right? That's
package,
what you
or
want to.
maybe you have missed an annotation somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these things can happen. Yeah.
Okay. Or maybe some, I mean, people have added conditional notation that's evaluated to false.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Evaluation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So have you worked with Spring Data JPA?
Spring, yeah, I have worked with, yeah.
Okay, so tell me the difference between CRUD repository and JP repository.
So CRUD repository and JPA. So
Mm-hmm.
JPA, I think, is the parent class. JPA is the
Mm-hmm.
parent class. We also have paging and sorting repository as well. I think these are all child classes of the main JPA
Mm-hmm.
repository, which so JPA has all the methods, but the all the subclasses will. So if you want to use only the certain method or certain features, you can go with
Mm-hmm.
other dependencies as well, other classes as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. What annotation marks a class as a JP entity?
As a JPA entity,
Mm-hmm.
entity only,
Yeah,
entity
that's
only.
correct. Okay. So, tell me the difference between custom queries and default queries.
Custom queries and default queries.
Mm-hmm.
So in Spring Data JPA, we can execute our own custom query, SQL query using a annotation query. This is a method level, like on your, let's say on your interface, you can define your custom query. But also
Mm-hmm.
Data JPA Hibernate will also allow you to create this dynamically at runtime using the find by ID, find by name, find
Mm-hmm.
by. So these are already present inside JPA.
Okay, okay.
So I think by default you mean these methods: find by ID, find by name, find by, yeah. Or there's also named queries as well. Where you
Mm-hmm.
want to let's say you are built as some kind of a very custom. You have a custom relation. You are fetching from multiple sources, or you,
Mm-hmm.
like you what kind of behavior you want the DTO to be. Like there has to be mapping of your result and DTO. So for there, use
Mm-hmm.
name native queries, and SQL set mapping is used for mapping your data to DTOs.
Okay, okay. Tell me the difference between fetch type lazy and eager.
Fetch type lazy and eager.
Eager.
So
Mm-hmm.
eager will, when you try to fetch the parent, eager
Mm-hmm.
will automatically fetch all the childs as well with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a student and a list of courses, everything will be fetched in one query. But lazily, if you do it lazily, then the
Mm-hmm.
child preference are not fetched.
Mm-hmm.
It
Okay.
can lead to a one plus query, plus one query problem where essentially
Mm-hmm.
every child you are executing one query, which is very inefficient.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Okay, how do you mock a JP repository method in a unit testing using Mockito?
JPA repository method.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, do we need to, why would we need to test JP repository? Like
No, no, if
some JP repository, like for repo classes for Spring Data JPA, we usually don't do it.
okay.
For
Let's
the
say if
controller,
someone asks
for
you to do
controller
it,
level,
for example, there are methods
yeah, I got it. I got it. Let me, okay. So
find by ID or
yeah,
those.
yeah. Okay. So I think JPA do have some kind of annotation. I think we have for like testing our controller in isolation. We have a
Mm-hmm.
PC controller. There is an annotation which will provide you some kind of a context, so you can test your
Mm-hmm.
controller in isolation. For service layer, you not did some fancy annotation. Service layer is already tested in isolation. I
Mm-hmm.
think data JPA, something like that, we have for a repo layer as well. Data
Mm-hmm.
JPA, something like that. I'm not able to
Okay, okay.
verify.
It's fine. So moving ahead, tell me how do microservices communicate with each other?
They can communicate in number of ways. The first way is
Mm-hmm.
using HTTP only, using FIN client, declarative
Mm-hmm.
HTTP client, or REST template, which is the same thing. Or
Okay,
you can have an event-driven architecture
okay, okay.
where one service.
So what are the difference between synchronously and asynchronously communication?
Using synchronous, you do it one step. You do it sequentially, one at a time. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
it's an OTP, then the verification process. Now, this is a
Mm-hmm.
sequential one, like one step after the other. But in
Mm-hmm.
asynchronous process, the idea is that you don't want to block the main thread. You don't want to waste the time for some external HTTP call or some other thing.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the main idea behind asynchronous
Okay,
communication, where a main
okay.
thread is not getting blocked. But I think
Mm-hmm.
now in Java 21, the virtual threads, we have a permanent feature called virtual threads. So
Mm-hmm.
when your thread is getting blocked, essentially you will not waste CPU cycles. It will go directly back to the thread pool, and that's why your Java application can use this thread to do some other
Mm-hmm.
task. So it is not getting blocked for entire time your DB call or some external HTTP call.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so how would you implement request tracing across multiple microservices?
Request tracing.
Yes.
I think we have some external libraries and tools for this. I think
Mm-hmm.
Relic is one, New Relic.
Mm.
monitoring, I think it is used for monitoring it.
Sleuth and Zipkin, have you heard about?
No, I have not used.
Okay, so we could use Sleuth and Zipkins.
Okay,
Sleuth propagates trash span IDs where Zipkin collects them for analysis. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so moving ahead, have you heard about a retry mechanism?
Retry mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard in case of messaging queues like Kafka.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, suppose because of some network glitch or some network error,
Mm-hmm.
you were not able to send, the producer was not able to send, or it did not get acknowledgement from the broker.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Depends on your configuration that, I did not get acknowledgement from
Mm-hmm.
the broker. So it can lead to so you can have some configuration like how many times you want to retry the message.
Mm-hmm.
It can lead to also, I think, a dual write problem as well in case of if
Okay.
you're retrying.
Okay. So when would you use event-driven architecture instead of RESTful communication between microservices?
Okay, so see the idea behind event-driven architecture to have loose coupling where each service is not
Mm-hmm.
dependent on like each other, and there is a very loose connection between them. Every
Mm-hmm.
can independently scale them. So essentially, you have one event, and it can be consumed simultaneously by number of services. Let's say one service want to send notification, one service
Mm-hmm.
want to reserve some inventory,
Mm-hmm.
one service want to send some email to some other thing. So there can be different
Mm-hmm.
consumer groups
Mm-hmm.
listening to this same topic. Or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it depends on our use case or our workflow of our application, what we want to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so how would you handle distributed transaction across services?
So distributed transaction, so we have two things for handling this. One is again the two commit protocol, where the
Mm-hmm.
first is the central central coordinator will first the prepare phase and the commit phase, and if anything goes wrong, it is rolled back. So this is the two-phase commit, I think, two-phase protocol. And the other is Saga pattern using orchestration and choreography. Orchestration is your single coordinator which controls everything, and it rolls back or compensating transaction it has to do on your on behalf. But this choreography is much more advanced, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
basically you do not have a central coordinator. Every service
Mm-hmm.
acts on behalf of their own, and if something goes wrong, there is a compensating transaction to roll back the changes.
Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so tell me what's the role of POM XML in a Maven-based project?
For dependencies, for some metadata about the project, like versions of
Mm-hmm.
it, or mainly for dependencies, or like
Okay.
in a multi-Maven project, let's say you have a monorepo
Yeah,
uh,
define different dependencies,
or even
plugins, build configurations.
yeah, multi-Maven, like multi-Maven project, you can create an inside like master form. You can have different kind of
Mm.
modules, what microservices you have.
Yeah, that's correct. So how do you Dockerize a Spring Boot app and reduce its image size?
I'm not so much into Docker. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's fine then. But yeah, let
I
me
know the
tell you, we
basics.
could use multiple stage Docker build, prefer J-Link or uh, other things like other
Okay,
images and cleanup layers, something like that. Okay, anyways, what are the key stages in a typical CI/CD pipeline for a Spring Boot project?
you test, you deploy,
Okay,
but I'm not very much into deployment. So
okay, so you are
CICD.
not aware on the deployment side, but
No,
do you
but
like
I know the basics. Yeah.
you merge your code changes yourself or like someone else?
No, we raise a PR, and that would usually go to it usually get merged to the development branch only. And once
Okay, okay.
in a release, we have
Mm-hmm.
a some list of commits that we
Uh,
forward to a master, and then it is released.
okay. Okay. So tell me some useful Git commands that we use in our day-to-day life, development
Oh,
life.
okay. Well, 95% of the time it's going to be git add, all like git add and space and dot, git commit, the
Mm-hmm. Git
message,
commit.
git pull,
Mm-hmm.
git push, git checkout.
Mm-hmm.
Git checkout is git checkout, and your b like dash b, and
Mm-hmm.
your main,
Okay.
the name of your new branch.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Now tell me what are some uncommon Git commands, but those are very, very helpful.
So for the very first time when we do some kind of configuration, we usually use like git config, username and email, and we
Mm-hmm.
also have a rebase command. Now rebase
Mm-hmm.
is used to essentially merge all your previous two. I mean there's I cannot recall properly. It's been a time,
Okay.
but yeah,
Get revert, get
but
cherry
I
pick.
think we have reset as well to undo all the local changes. Reset head,
Yeah, yeah, reset head.
reset head. Yeah.
Get a cherry pick. Have you heard about cherry pick?
Yeah, cherry pick have to basically let's again to let's say when I told you about
Pick few commits and.
pick few commit for your let's say in case of some emergency or
Mhm.
you want some delivery.
Okay. And how do you resolve conflicts?
You well, so conflicts happen when you take a pull, right? When you take a pull and
Mm-hmm.
some other developer was making changes to the exact same thing that you are currently working on, then it usually
Mm-hmm.
leads to conflict. So we can decide what version you want to keep, the previous one or the new one, and
Mm-hmm.
this can be solved using like in VS Code, we get a very nice visual representation of your previous changes and your current changes, and then
Okay.
you can click just very click which one you want to
Mm-hmm.
keep.
Okay. Okay. Now tell me what are some uncommon Spring Boot annotations that are very
Hmm.
important, but we don't use
Okay.
most of the time or frequently.
Okay. And post construct is one, but post construct is used when you start your application for the very first time and you want to
Mm-hmm.
build some body, some kind of a data, some kind of a static data. Let's say in case of
Mm-hmm.
uh, could be anything. Let's say DB connection or something, some other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Post construct is one. Transactional transaction is very important and notification. So
Mm-hmm.
it will essentially allow you to let's say if you have multiple save inside your method, then it will roll
Mm-hmm.
back in case of a runtime instruction. It will roll back all the changes, and
Mm-hmm.
it will only commit if the method was executed successfully. And then we have also different transactional propagation. Like if you have a method annotated transaction and you're calling some other method,
Mm-hmm.
then what kind of behavior do you want to have? You want to start a new transaction, or do you want to cancel this one and start,
Mm-hmm.
or do you want to join the previous one as well? So these are
Okay.
some of the yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's say a unit test fails only on CI, right? But passes locally. What are the possible causes?
Passes locally.
Mm-hmm.
That is failing.
In pipeline.
So it failing in pipeline. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So could be that some changes or some files were not pushed, some were missing. Like in your get add commands, maybe some file got missed. This
Mm-hmm.
is one problem, or there can be
Missing secrets, environment specific configuration,
yeah there could be
time zone, port conflicts.
many things. Yeah,
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, do you use Sonar Cube or this stuff for code quality?
No, I've not used these tools.
You don't use. Tell me some best practices that we should follow while working on a Spring Boot application.
Okay. So, see, the very first thing is that we have to follow a standard three-tier model
Mm-hmm.
where we expose a controller for
Mm-hmm.
all the HTTP request, a service layer for handling all the business logic, and
Mm-hmm.
a repository which connects to a data access layer using a
Mm-hmm.
database, right? And the next important thing is to have a proper kind of exception handling mechanism. We usually use a global exception handler using something called as a controller advice. So a controller advice is a class level annotation, and essentially it will allow you to map your own custom
Mm-hmm.
notation to a proper HTTP error code. So suppose
Okay.
you have a custom exception that user not found and you want to map it to a
Mm-hmm.
response entity 404 and send it to the client. So in that way,
Okay.
a global exception handler is always considered.
Mm-hmm.
And there could be other, like coding practices always follow like solid principles. All
Solid principles.
use a godlike class where you're doing everything in a
Mm-hmm.
single, splitting
Mm-hmm.
your code accordingly. And
Mm-hmm.
modular, use your everything should depend upon or your interfaces rather than concrete classes to make
Mm-hmm.
the code more maintainable and extensible. So suppose in future some new feature come, then it will be much more easier to extensibility access if we use interface rather than
Mm-hmm.
directly using concrete classes. So it
Mm-hmm.
has an extensibility as well. So there
Okay.
could be more as well.
Yeah, yeah, there are a lot of things in the best practices. Okay, so yes, Nishant, it's done from my end.